Yeah, what about the, there's nothing healthy about a tan? How crap's that? It's brainwashing us into, you know, being fearful of the sun. But if we eat the right foods and we get the right amount of sunlight on our body at the right times, we expose ourselves to red light in the morning and the evening, it actually increases the melanin in our skin, and therefore we can absorb the UV rays all right, and we're not actually, you know, gonna get melanomas or cancers or whatnot. G'day guys, Darcy and Ninja here. We are in the best weather Melbourne has produced in such a long time, so we thought we'd get out in the sun and enjoy it. We're stuck inside with no direct sunlight, so we're getting our vitamin D. And today we're focusing on Ninja's hips, pelvis, and glutes, and how sometimes it's overseen treating lower back pain and how important it is to release the glutes, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my pisiform, put some pressure on that pelvis, just to like get a little bit of a joint mob in there. Sometimes it can be quite blocked and stuck. It's all about stagnation versus flow in this area. So what we're doing is getting things moving and functioning the way that we want. Often the lower back gets tight and compressed because of our pelvis and the immobility that we lose through there because of the tightness in our glutes, the running, the sprinting, the gym work, or the sedentary. The other side of the sword is sitting down and compressing and actually being more stagnant and not moving or stretching or getting enough body work. So it's really important that our pelvis operates and moves freely, because if it doesn't, our lower back picks up the slack and our lower back becomes tight because it doesn't feel like it's supported. There's not enough stability through there. So what we want to do is make sure we have a balance of mobility. So we want our hips to move, flex, extend, internally rotate, abduct, all these amazing movements that our hips do. But we also want to have a strong foundation in our glutes. We want to make sure that these are the primary movers every time we run and every time we sprint. So it's really important to have functioning glutes. So my first stroke was a pisiform across. My next is using more of my palm, again, pushing down into that pelvis. See how his whole body shakes. So I'm getting end range there, joint mob, and then I'm working on top of the sacrum and around the pelvis there. So picking up all the tendons and attachments in that area, but also working the thoracolumbar fascia. So that coverage that we have that really cements this area and keeps it stable and strong. So working all that area there. I'm trying not to get too much shadows there. Another way I like to treat is using my thumb and getting into that sacrum. So working into this attachment. So our spinalis muscles, longissimus, those erector spinae group, like start the back of the neck, come all the way down. Some fan out into our rib cage here and come all the way down and come into this lowest part of our lumbar spine and into L5-S1. But then there's this continuation of fascia that covers this area, and that's our thoracolumbar fascia, and it's probably the most dense, the most stable, the most strong group of fascia that we have in our whole body. And it's protecting our lower back, much like our ribs protect our heart and our brain protects our skull protects our brain. This area is just as important as those three vital organs. So we're working at softening some of that area, because what happens is it becomes condensed and blocks and solidified, and we lose the ability to move that hip. So we're starting at just like holding, pinning that point, working different angles, changing the way my thumb sort of pushes into that area, and I can feel it starting to soften. So that's like, I want to get a little bit more there. So I'm going to work all the way down into the coccyx. So sometimes you fall on your bum, right? Snowboarders, you miss a step walking down the stairs, you've had a few too many and you slip over, or that old saying, what is it, you slip on a banana peel? That actually happens. And you fall on your coccyx, right? And what that happens is it causes a whole lot of vibration up your spine, but you can also damage this area of your pelvis or your coccyx. So sometimes there's old traumas stuck in here that you didn't even realize. So we go we go into these areas where people may not have actually had treatment before, because we sometimes identify and find and discover that there's old scar tissue and compression in this area. So working all the way down there, Leo. Like, I know it's close to the crack, but that's where the crap builds up. So we need to get in there and just peel that away. We've also got the attachments of some deep external rotators. The glutes are attaching into those tiny little nodules in there and bony landmarks that I can feel under my thumb. We can do some double thumbs where we're pushing towards the midline and scooping away, which you've seen in our videos. We do that along the laminar groove and in the spine, along the medial border of the scap. We use that same method. Push in and peel away. In and peel away. So yeah, really important if you've got chronic lower back pain and you're just not getting the results that you're looking for, go towards the sacrum, get that moving, because the sacrum and the pelvis need to move over each other. Yeah, there doesn't need to be a lot of movement, but there needs to be some movement. Okay, so next we're working all the tendons and the attachments of glute max to begin with, and we're working now along the pelvis. So bone depth, I'm quite deep there. Trying to show you that I'm without putting too many shadows in the video, but just work that whole region really slowly, picking up, clearing away any build up, or yeah, like there's a good little spot in there. I just felt the tissue push back on my thumb, so that's a good gauge. That's highlighting to me that there's some build up. So maybe some blood vessels that are getting compressed and not moving freely through them. I'm going to change my thumb so you guys can see. But I'm sure Ninj can feel that. I can see that his right leg's starting to lift up off the table. So I know that I'm being effective. Oh, how's that feel, man?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Yeah, right on the attachments.
Right on the attachments.
Yeah.
So sticking to our concepts always, you know, we don't get off the rails and just start doing this effleurage and pessarage. It's all about going slow, treating the tendons, tracing the bones. That's where things become blocked and stuck. Yeah, nice.
Fuck. It's good. Really good. Really good.
So not only is this going to help free up the lower back and get the pelvis moving, we're also going to have better firing of these muscle tissues. You know, better networking from our brain to our muscles.
Fuck.
How things need to operate, sending those messages, those neurotransmitters. You know, things are going to start to fire a bit better because there's not all these interruptions of ripples in the muscles or adhesions in the muscles that are interfering with that conversation, that network. So clear that out. And yeah, the beauty of bodywork, it's more than just getting up and feeling good. There's so much going on. Muscles start to feel stable and strong. Good. It's also going to have this like reciprocal inhibition thing where we're treating this area and then all of a sudden the other side can start to relax. His opposite QL muscle can start to relax. It's not having to overwork to stabilize his spine and protect that area. So just a few strokes along there. Looks really good. All the way around into more of the TFL. Yeah, look at that. That looks good. Hopefully get a little bit of a tan. I'm trying to hold on to mine. It's really starting to fade.
Everyone's been liking your tan, Darcy, haven't they?
Yeah, nothing better than a tan.
Yeah, the tan line.
Adds 10% to how hot you are, I reckon.
Yeah.
At least.
Takes you from a 1, 2, or 2.
Yeah, 1, 2,
or
2.
Or something like that. That's
Yeah.
100%, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's double.
Yeah, let's get that so you can see it. There it is. Yeah, what about the, there's nothing healthy about a tan. How crap's that?
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's crap. It's brainwashing us into, you know, being fearful of the sun. But if we eat the right foods and we get the right amount of sunlight on our body at the right times, we expose ourselves to red light in the morning and the evening, it actually increases the melanin in our skin, and therefore we can absorb the UV rays all right, and we're not actually, you know, going to get melanomas or cancers or whatnot. Majority of the population, a lot of the population is vitamin D deficient, and go and do some research of what the vitamin D deficient means. It's like low energy, appetite, sleep. It impacts a whole lot of your life. So we're sponges to the sun. We see it and we're just like, get me out there.
Yeah.
All right, elbow time. So here we are. Nice, in there. So glute med now. So we've worked the glute max, the glute med. We're just in the TFL and a little bit of glute minimus. So making sure we're hitting all those different fibers and tissues. Nice, so this is more of a pin. And now I'm gonna work towards the outer hip bone, that greater trochanter. So I'm just working down towards that, as we know that those big bony landmarks are where we are going to find the origins, the insertions of our external rotators, those deeper muscles in our hip. Feels good. So just slowly tracing it down, getting that shadow out of there. Pinning. It's all pretty clean. It's not too bad in there for ninja. Maybe I come from over here. And I'm going to work his piriformis. Good. So just piriformis is deeper. Sometimes we feel sciatic pain or nerve-like pain, sharp shooting. This is generally where the sciatic nerve gets compressed or entrapped by the piriformis. So we're making sure that this piriformis doesn't get too tight. Always treat it. We can lift the leg, do a bit more of a dynamic treatment. Pin and stretch. Pin and stretch. All right, do about 7 or 8 of those, slowly sink out. And that's more of a fast-tracked version of how treating the glutes, getting the pelvis, look, full range through there. It feels nice and free, you know? Getting the pelvis to move in a way that it should is going to prevent your lower back from stiffening up and having to compensate. So easy enough, treat the glutes, get a ball in there, a massage ball, or book in with one of our practitioners here at MMT. We've got a clinic out in Ferntree Gully, one in Richmond. Make the trip over from wherever you are in the world. We'll make it worth your while. Make sure you do head to Patreon for more exclusive content. Like, subscribe, comment. We love it, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.